The talking is the vessel for the mezcal.
Yeah. Well, so welcome.
I think.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Marlie Collins. Cheers.
Oh, okay. This could be a little tiny baby sip.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Ugh, yeah, that goes down smooth, doesn't it? 5 p.m. Let's chase it with.
So it's funny too, because I mentioned earlier that I did drink all of the mezcal earlier because we did. We filmed on this early this afternoon.
Oh,
with Bradley Barkman.
Oh, yay!
And he's telling me a story halfway through because I asked him how he got to start singing in Vancouver. He mentions that running into Crystal DeSantos at the XY, and then he goes, "Do you know Marlie Collins?" I'm like, yeah, I know Marlie. You should look at my iCalendar because it says Bradley Barkman at 2 p.m. and Marlie Collins at 5 p.m. And he went, "That bitch is coming in at 5." I
know. I love Bradley so much.
So Bradley was excited for you to be here.
Oh, I'm excited that he was here. We've had some great phone car chats when we've driven to some gigs, and there's been really good rainy car chats.
You guys have done a lot of gigs together, right?
Just a few, like in the kind of corporate cover world. Mm-hmm. Like we've done like a handful, but only really in the last few years, maybe. But every time it's been really fun.
That corporate cover world you talk about, I think that's such a different side of the music business in Vancouver.
It is very weird in the best way. You, as a vocalist, you kind of become like I don't know, that you're a bit of a musician. You're always a musician as a vocalist, but as a cover singer, you have to be able to sing so many different genres and ranges and learn songs really fast or choreo. And it's quite a beast in itself. Yeah. It's really taught me everything I know. Being around those certain people and singing all these songs that are way out of my range and making it work.
Your background is in theater, isn't it?
It's in theater and classical music.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Did you go to CCP? Were you there?
I went to CCPA for musical theater, but I also started my Bachelor of Music degree in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan for classical music.
Which is where you're from, right?
Which is where I'm from.
Yeah.
And I did not finish that degree, but I started it. But I have studied classical music for many years.
Is that something you grew up studying, or?
Yeah. When I was in grade 9, I got my first solo in a musical, and it was in Jesus Christ Superstar.
Oh.
Do you want to know what the line was?
Yes.
Okay, I was one of the lepers. And I was like, "See me stand, I can hardly walk." You know?
I mean, sorry I ruined your solo, but I know that whole fucking musical like the back of my head.
Do you really?
Oh, fuck yeah. My mind is clear now.
Yeah, and they're like all climbing up his leg. Anyway, and I remember one of my teachers was like, "Marlie, you were going to get a lead next year. I know it, Miss Martin." I was like, "Really?" And I did. And so I was in grade 10, and I was...
What was the lead in grade 10?
Oh my God. Hot Mikado. Okay, this is like really bad. Actually, Keisha and I were both double cast in Hot Mikado.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, we brought it. We shouted out Keisha earlier this afternoon.
So Keisha, I love you.
Shout out to Keisha Hayes again.
I'm actually going to see her after this as well. So we're
to film your auditions.
To film auditions.
I've been to that exact spot filming an audition.
My goodness. My goodness gracious. Yeah, we do we help each other with our auditions.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's so bad because back then, as we know, we did things that we shouldn't have done. And I, pretty much in a majority Caucasian high school, I was Caddyshaw, and she was a Japanese character. Myself and Keisha were both that. But, I was pitchy as hell. Mm-hmm. And then I decided to take voice lessons at the age of 15, and it changed my world for the better. So...
It's talk about the casting of my high school did hair.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously without the full frontal nudity, but
totally.
We tried to make it as hip and as cool as possible as a group of 16 and 17-year-olds. But, one of the most famous songs from that musical is Black Boys, White Boys.
Oh my gosh. And there's just like white boy, white boy.
Well, I grew up in the fucking suburbs, man. Here.
So bad.
We had 2 black kids at our school, and they were related.
Oh my
And
goodness.
so the song that's White Boys, that's supposed to be three black women singing about white boys, they got real creative.
Yeah.
So it was the same thing. It was like I think it was a Indian girl and a Japanese girl, and then someone else. I don't remember who the other one was, but they were all like playing black characters.
I'm glad times are changing because I think that it is
just she's supposed to be black, right? It's just anyone that isn't white.
It has to change, and I'm glad that it's changing, that we're staying true to the characters these days.
Yeah.
But I will say that it was a fun musical, and it started everything, and I had no control over that, their choice of a musical. But I mean, I started musical theater there, and then I decided, like, okay, when I was 18, I'm like, I'm gonna start my Bachelor of Music. I like training classical, but I'm not an academic in any way.
Right.
And I mean, I shouldn't say that. It's just that school is not my thing. But I'm a charmer, so performing arts school is way better for me. But yeah, I studied classical music for many years, and then I went to theater school and then did the whole musical theater thing. But I always wanted to be like my own singer, and I wanted to do film and TV. As much as I love theater, and I still want to do theater, and I have done theater, but I don't know. I'm just still finding my way, and then you kind of go with the things that stick or don't stick.
And you talk about film. You've done. Do you have a production company? You've done quite a few short films, right?
Yeah, I'm just gonna get the cat hair off the microphone.
No, it's good.
My attention to detail.
Yeah. You get the cat hair off my microphone too. I won't sneeze on you halfway through.
I have my friend and I, my Isa contractor and I. We've through COVID did a few short films, and I produced them.
This
and
is a drummer, right?
Yeah, he's a drummer.
I know him.
You do, yes. And you think he's playing at Guild pretty soon here. So we started doing these short films, and they were like, "Oh yeah." I'm like, "Well, hey, like I know the acting side of things. Let me help organize it." And we kind of just really collaborate on all these short films and put them in film festivals. And then we actually just got a grant to do a feature film. So we'll be filming that in September. So it's been really cool to, like, aside from the other filming that I do, that is kind of like, I do lots of Hallmarks and Lifetimes, which is really sweet. But I get to play a lot of cool characters when you do make your own work.
Yeah.
And really hard characters, because Isa is an amazing writer, and also, like, he writes some crazy stuff. So, but yeah, this film is going to be really hard, and production-wise for myself, and maybe acting-wise. It's kind of, I'm a person that deals with psychosis, and like her journey is how she's kind of become schizophrenic and such. So it's a bit heavy, but it's really cool.
Yeah. Important to talk about, though. It's
totally
a hot button issue right now.
Totally. But for me to kind of like organize it and be the lead actor with a specific content that it's about, it's a bit, it might be a little bit hard. So we're going to get some help for me.
Yeah. So what is that? That's a producer hat and an actor hat? Or
yeah. I mean, despite me not being an academic, I love to organize events and things, whether it be like my band stuff, films. I don't know why I have that kind of, that mind and that, like, okay, we're on the clock. I don't know. I would love to be a producer in this world as I make my way. And I love just making art, whether that be movies, videos, songs, like all of that. I'm such a performer in all the ways, and I love to do it. So I like to make it happen. Yeah.
Cheers to that.
Cheers.
The first time, I'm trying to think of the first time I ever, because I know you personally through Keisha.
Yeah.
That's how we met.
Keisha, what's up?
But at the first time I think I saw you on stage at Guild, I think you were singing with Henry Brown.
Yes. Yeah.
Is that sort of where the
Yeah, so like at a theater school, I was super gung-ho, and I did this weird audition. I don't even want to tell you how I met these people. It was so weird. But like my first ever gig I did, I was 18 and at the Sask Jazz Fest with Earl Pereira from the Steadies. Yep. So I've known him since forever. And he's like, do you want to sing backup vocals? I freaking like sucked butt at it, man. I messed up so much. It was crazy, but it was such a cool opportunity. So I met this person in his band back in the day. And then when I was done theater school, he's like, you should audition for this guy named Henry Brown. With this other guy, and they do these Asia gigs, and you go to Asia and you like live there and sing every night in these like big hotels, like casino hotels. It's like, oh, okay. So I flew to Calgary and I did it. It was originally this like girl band. Henry was just helping out, but it was through this other person. And that whole thing didn't work out. But then Henry called me and was like, hey, do you want to come be one of my singers on one of these tours in Malaysia? And I was like, so you're telling me I have to just like drop everything and go to Malaysia for 4 months? He's like, yeah. I was like, let me call my mom. She was like, she's not going to be super stoked. But I couldn't get a job I was in Victoria. I just finished theater school. It took me forever to get a job. I was serving a Cactus Club, and I worked at Dave Wheaton Auto Body Shop as like one of their admin people. Just basically eye candy.
Yeah. I've also had jobs that are me being eye candy.
Totally. Like right now.
Yeah, I'm the only reason we actually record video.
Yeah, the video is
not just audio.
It's like really just like
those cameras are totally off.
I know.
It's all about me right now.
And I'm so happy to be in your presence.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'll cheers to
cheers
that.
Cheers to that. Yeah, one of those, you can't get a job and then someone gives you a call and that changes your life forever. Kind of one of those. Nonchalant. But one sec. Mm-hmm. So I didn't even sip that. That was like a fake sip.
Yeah, that's a stage sip.
That was a stage sip. But they're like, Anyway. Yeah, so like, we went to Malaysia and there was myself and another singer. Her name was Nicole, and she's from Atlanta. And she taught me everything. She'd been in this biz for a while. She was straight up. And I'm like out of theater school and I'm like, yeah, I can dance and I can sing. And she's like, girl, you try too hard. I'm like, what? And I'm 22. And she's like, girl, you pitchy. I'm like, I have never sung 6 nights in a row this kind of music. Like we're singing funk, like rock, pop, all this stuff. This is in Malaysia. This is in Malaysia with Henry. So really there, I kind of learned everything. I finished theater school and then I had 4 months like on stage with a group of people that have been professional musicians for 10 to 30, 40 years. Who knows? I don't know how old everyone was, but there was a long time. And yeah, and I came back and then I got a lead in a musical at the Arts Club. It was really sweet when I was 22. I was like, oh, and then I moved to Vancouver for that and kind of started making my way. So Henry was like my pops. Like he really taught me a lot how to perform. Mm-hmm. And Nicole did as well.
He's a great performer.
Yeah. So there's a lot of
he's on my list of people to get on this.
Oh yes, he'd be amazing. So since
Henry
then,
Brown, if you're watching,
Henry Brown,
come on the show.
Henry Brown, HB. He always goes Marlie, and he, I still to this day sing Bee Gees for him, I sing with him. But that night, I was like, we did a few guild shows and. We've, written a few songs together and I'll sing on his tracks. And I always learn so much from him because he's like one of the greats in this kind of world. And as a performer.
Yeah, he's been doing it his whole life.
Yeah. And he's Jimi Hendrix's cousin.
He is. Yeah.
So that's a big thing. It's really cool. I met Janie Hendrix, which is Jimmy's sister. Anyway, back in the day. Yeah. Honestly, I feel that if that time feels like a dream and it was so long ago and it's like, I'm 34 this year, so it was 12 years ago. But so everything, in my early 20s, everything was like, this is so cool. Like as a lot of young artists in ways that start, like a lot of things just happen. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to tell you it ends. No, I'm just kidding.
It all ends badly.
And then nothing happens. Okay, you think you're good now? But just wait. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I learned so much in that time. And then I did another tour in Vietnam. Henry wasn't on it, and I was actually fronting the band. We were called Marlie and the Misfits. So lame. But I lived in Vietnam for 6 months.
Did you do Misfits covers?
No, they're like, we needed something. I'm like, why would you think that was cool? Whatever. So I got to do the whole Asia thing and live there, and it was so amazing. And then, I continued the cover scene, here is side one and my tribute acts that I'm in. And then I started writing music actually in Vietnam. And I was like, I'm going to write music. I'm going to finally be like an original artist. And I'm still making my way.
Yeah. And how did that lead into, because you released an album in 2018, I think you said earlier,
I did,
right?
Yes. So all those songs.
Which is available.
On Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, all the things. Yeah. And I had tons more songs.
Collins, right?
It's under Marlie Collins, yeah. Those were the songs that I wrote like just after the trip to Vietnam. Some of them I wrote there. And then it was one of those things that I moved back and I was just in this space. Like I literally wrote some of these songs in my shower in like 5 minutes, or like it was just like blah. They're all over the place in a way for me. Like they're like, what is this, country? Is it roots? Is it funky? I don't know what it is. But I like all those things. And I was just figuring it out. And I think there's some pretty cool songs.
Where was the sidewalk, baby?
So, I mean, I tell this story every time when I perform it, yeah. But let me tell everybody for the folks on the YouTube right now.
Or the Apple Podcast.
Or the Apple Podcast or the Spotify Podcast or whatever you know. Yeah, if any podcasts are near you. Okay, so in 2016, my sister was getting married in London, Ontario. Now, I was the maid of honor, and myself and the other bridesmaids and my sister, we were in a truck going down to get our nails done. And we see this woman in the street, like pushing her, like a stroller, like this ratty stroller into the street. And it's like a freeway. There was so many cars. And we're like, what is happening? One of the girls in the back was like, lady, get your baby on the sidewalk. And I was like, that's a hit. And then we were like, get your baby on. And we like made this huge joke of it. And it was like the joke.
Then you recorded it.
Yeah. And I was like, you guys, I'm going to write a song about this. And they're like, yeah, whatever. And I was like, it has to be like this rap or whatever. And then I did a year later. And they were like, what? And yeah, that's my claim to fame. I have about 2,000 views on that video. And that was about 5 years ago.
You guys did make a video for that, right?
We did. Yeah. I directed it. It's my silly, stupid idea. So someone put a barf emoji on the comments. I was like, hey. And some people think it's genius.
Yeah, the comments can be cruel.
I'm going to take this off and really hot. Yeah, so that is all kind of, what happened. And then since then, I have so many songs. One of my collaborators, his name is Marlo. We wrote a lot of songs, and that we've done like live. They're on YouTube. They're like live video music things. And they're very like, what is this music? It's like theatrical. It's emotional. It's, I don't know, weird and cool, I guess. But that is some of like the most special things I've ever written with someone. Mm-hmm. And now the stuff that I have and I'm gearing up to like finish recording and release, I'm really happy about.
So you're in the studio now?
Not right now. Like there's 4 songs that are done. Like I'm a perfect procrastinator. But also
say that 4 times fast.
Perfect procrastinator. Perfect. Exactly. Also a lot of things happened. Like I was saying earlier, COVID kind of put everything a little bit more on the back burner for me. And a lot of these songs are now like, for me, at least 4 years old. Mm-hmm. And I'm in the process of writing new ones with my dear friend and guitar player, Tristan Paxton, and his wife, Molly Griffin.
He's a fantastic
player. So we're writing together and collaborating, and he's producing for me now. But a lot of the people in my band that are my friends and colleagues and dear family, like also had babies. So a lot of the things were kind of like, and Tristan's actually about to have a second. So everything's kind of also based on everyone else's life as well. And it's my life. And as things get busy. So we're halfway done. Let's say that. And the goal is to finish them in the coming months. So there you go. I've said it. That's the goal. And that's what's going to happen.
In the coming months? Yeah. Is this going to be like an EP or like a full like 10, 12 track album?
Yeah, that's the thing in this world. Like I could do kind of 2 EPs or like a 2-parter or like a full album. I don't know what people do these days because everything's about singles.
World. It's a weird world. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, yeah, maybe you'll do like this and that and it's all fine.
And it's like everything's about singles in a way that I don't think it's been since.
Yeah, so I like
the dawn of vinyl.
Yeah, like I would love to just put an album out because I have all the songs and they're almost done. I'm like, hey, great, cool, but you have to like single 1 month, single another month, single. And then you have to have all the videos and this. And then you have to like, okay, no, we don't want 18 songs on here. We just want maybe like 7. So that's kind of technically still an EP. And so basically, sometimes you can't rush art. You can't rush it. If it doesn't feel right, that's okay. Right now, I'm really focused on my acting world and my acting career, and still making music and just trying really not to get down on myself that I'm not doing more musically, because that's what brings me down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, it's tough. You know, I had this, I had Ian Cromwell on the other day, you know, Ian, and we talked about, one of the things we talked about was the lack of intersectionality between the arts communities.
Yeah.
In Vancouver. You know, we've got film. Yep. And we've got theater, and we've got session musicians, and we've got recording music, you know, all these different, and then there's the visual arts community as well. And I know a handful of people, you do as well. You're one of them, who has a foot in several different areas. And then I was talking to Crystal DeSantos as well about her show, Hey Viola, which is an amazing show. It's which she's taking to Stratford.
Yeah, that's huge.
Fucking incredible.
It's amazing.
And she was talking about how there's not a lot of crossover. And like Marianne Chetta does the keys for that show. Yeah. And she's her, you know, background is in, obviously it's in music.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to me how we've got, because people who are I won't even say multi-talented, but multi-interested or multifaceted. Like, yeah, I play music, but I'm also an actor, and I'm also like a film actor and a theater actor.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me that we all don't know each other.
I know, right?
Like, it's like, wait, what, how do we not interconnect?
I know. It's like there's, it's a weird world, man, because a lot of people would say you have to stick with one thing, and that's what's going to make you successful.
That's fucking boring.
And I'm like, well, sure, if you have money, cool. Like I never did. I diversified a lot. I was heavy. I am a voice actor, but that actually paid a lot more of my bills over the last 10 years, and cover music, which like gave me all the experience. And then the few theater shows that I did. And then as I started to get into film, I was like, okay. And now film seems to be more paying my bills, which is really cool. If I were to, maybe if I only just made my own music my whole life, maybe I would get somewhere. But for me, and maybe a lot of other people don't feel this way, or they do feel this way. Like, you know, I grew up very, very poor. So you're kind of motivated in your life to make money. I would assume everybody is. Yeah. But I can't be poor anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't. So it's like I had to take the gigs. I had to say yes to everything. I had to diversify because I had to make a living to live in Vancouver at a very young age with no one to help me. And so the art, we should cross over more. We should know each other a lot because, a lot of people are such amazing actors and singers, and we should do it all together, man. Yeah.
And it's you meet actors who are musical theater actors.
Yeah.
Who I remember. This was a long time ago, probably 4 or 5 years ago. I was karaoke with a friend. Yeah. And we were just getting drunk and singing karaoke songs. And there was a couple there, and I was like, I had a wager going with the friend that I was with. I was like, they're musical theater actors.
I know. Oh, they're so big.
I was like, and they were perfect. And I was like, I guarantee you, both of them are like musical theater actors, and they were.
I know.
You mentioned being poor. Yeah. And I remember graduating from theater school and going through something like the similar pressure of like, well, I gotta make fucking money to live in the city. And I turned down right out of school like several theater gigs. Yeah. From companies that were, and I wanted to do them. Totally. I wanted to do them.
You just couldn't.
But they were like, oh, we're not, they were full time.
Yeah.
They expected like a professional rehearsal schedule. Yeah. So like all day. and I was like, where do I work?
I know
in this. And I think that, there are ways to do it, because I have taken a couple of full-time contracts that I was able to work around my schedule.
Totally.
When I got to the point where I had a more flexible one. Mm-hmm. But it's a frustrating place to be in when you're, an emerging artist, and all that you care about and all that you want to do is this work, whether or not it's singing, whether or not it's playing, whether or not it's acting, whether or not it's behind the camera. And the opportunities that come up that are like, this will get you in the door, but we're not going to give you any fucking money to do it.
Yeah.
And you're like,
you're going to get to know us, but
you miss the opportunity.
You have no money.
And for myself, I missed quite a few opportunities because I just couldn't make it work. I was like, no, I live in Vancouver. I got bills to pay.
Totally. It's such a weird thing. I don't know how people do it. And maybe they've saved up money. Maybe they have someone helping them out. I'm not sure. Whatever you do, that's cool. But for me, I'm like sweating, by the way. I have like...
it's the sun.
I felt the drip down. And
we'll just full transparency. Like, I'm sweating as well. Like, we're good. We're good.
My like what's happening?
Women don't sweat. They glow. Everyone fucking knows that.
Oh, you gotta love the sun though. That's why you're getting all that smile and happiness. You get the sun love. I don't remember what we were talking about.
Neither do I. Cheers. That's usually
like not making money or something. I don't know. Anyway, now you come to a time in life where it's like, okay, whoa, I'm not struggling. Also, let me just point out the struggling artist comment that I don't know if you've had it before. I've had it before where when I was serving, people were like, oh, so you're a struggling artist. I'm like, well, no.
I'm not struggling.
Like, no.
That's a weird word.
Yeah. Or if I'm like, they're like, oh, no, I actually, like, I'm really just making my living off of film and music. They're like, oh, so yeah, like you're not a struggling artist. Like it always goes back to the stigma. And listen, man, some people are those struggling artists that they would live in their van and they would just practice guitar or something. I don't know. And they're the best of the best and they become Led Zeppelin. I don't know. You know what I mean? Or Keanu Reeves, the rumor or the thing that I know that he like just drove to LA and that's how he got to start. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm sure there's tons.
I'm sure there's tons of those kinds of stories.
Yeah.
But man, it pisses me off because you can also just like be a successful artist without like being super known. You know what I mean?
Oh, totally. Yeah, and it's funny too because I remember talking to somebody about this about when. So obviously, the last 20 years, maybe 25 years. Completely changed the music industry.
Yes.
And one of the things that it's done is it's made a lot of people broke that would have been extremely fucking rich.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is one of the good sides of it is that more musicians own their work. Mm-hmm. The record companies aren't making like screaming amounts of fucking money.
Yeah.
There are still like Spotify's, the vulture that is Spotify. There are the behemoths and the giants, but it's created this wealth of availability and access.
Yeah.
And technology has also made it available to like you can, if you're at all savvy, you can record an album.
Oh, totally.
With not a lot.
You don't need a lot at all. No.
Totally lost my train of thought. It happens. Fine.
You can make a lot of money doing what you do. You can be an artist.
I think there's more emphasis now on I think live performance.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Than there was, say, 25 years ago. And people forget that there's like working musician means a lot of things.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Working artists means a lot of things. And being able to be like a go-getter and have your hand in this little pie, but also knowing your worth.
Totally.
That's the other thing too.
Yeah.
Being like, I love to do this. I'm passionate about it. I want to do it, but also fucking pay me.
Totally. And you know what? Like, yeah, like the music world and the film world or theater world or all of these worlds that's artistry, like there's so much opportunity in there. You know, you could even be like a guitar player and singer and just play lounges all over Vancouver and make a great living. Mm-hmm. And that is your artistry. And that is totally cool. That is amazing, actually. You could play in cover bands. You could do that. You can just like do all the theaters in BC and make it. I mean, it's not the best living. You can make a pretty good living.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you could do a bunch of Hallmarks. You could do Lifetimes. You could do commercials. You can do all this stuff and make a great living. And we don't have to struggle. But I guess the question is,
but you might have to serve tables.
But you might have to serve tables for sure. I taught for many years. I stopped serving maybe 5 years ago, but
I'll drink to that.
Yeah. Carderos, everybody. What's up? Love Carderos. Still do. I love Carderos.
That's the place on
Cole Harbor Quay.
Yeah,
I love it.
Good friend of mine is one of the shift managers there.
Oh, who?
His name's Rob Sweatman, but I don't think he was there.
Oh, he wasn't there when yeah. Honestly, it's so interesting in your life how like these moments, these people that you meet, like introduce you or lead you to these other places. Because Carderos actually taught me a lot. Mm-hmm. A lot of the management team, the people just, I started singing there and then I met, it's just crazy. I really got it. It's a testament to the type of people in the world, but especially Carderos, and I love them and all their sister restaurants. I think they're amazing people. But I was saying, I stopped serving about 5 years ago, but then I was teaching at the Sarah Mclachlan School of Music for the last 8 years. And just this last January, I'm now not really teaching there. I'm now just a sub because I've been really busy in film and music and stuff. So that was kind of my other job. I don't want to say Joe job, but excuse me. But I was lucky because it's such a great community of people as well that I learned everything. I learned how to be a musician. They were like, "Can you play piano?" I was like, "Yes." And I didn't know how at all. And I tell them now. They're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Yeah." So I just like learned the scales and like, "Can you just teach us a lesson?" I'm like, "Sure. I know I'm a good teacher, but
I don't know how to play.
I don't know how to play, but I learned so much there." And every teacher that works there, like Robin Lane, Leah McDonald, who Justin Gorey.
Yep.
Who else that plays at Gilton Co? Like Jeff Gammon. All these people are some of my best friends and amazing people. And we've been working at the Sarah School of Music and just learned everything, how to be a musician. Yeah, I lost my train of thought too. But what I'm trying to say is my other job that I did along with all this stuff was teaching. So it is different than serving, but it is still, it was very draining at times. Teaching
Did
can
you enjoy
be.
it?
Yes, that school is just the best. The people, the kids, what it's all about. It's a nonprofit for kids kind of from all walks of life. Mm-hmm. And it's just as much about the people and community as it is about the music. And so I learned how, if I ever become a mother, I learned how to be a mother. Like the kids used to freak me out. I started teaching when I was 23, and you would teach kids where like can be so mean. And how do you not? Oh my gosh. I was like, I took it all personally back in the day. Now I'm just like, what? All right, you can leave the room if you want.
I'm just like, I'm gonna traumatize you and then deny it when you complain to your parents.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So really what it comes down to is life is crazy. Music, art is so cool. The people that you meet, like you never know who you'll meet or any opportunity that you go into, because it will lead to something else, even if it's not about. Like I met so many people that I was teaching within that it turned into something musical, or something like this. So like I said, half a glass of wine, and we're talking love right now. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I love. I love all the people in my life.
Did you ever encounter, as a teacher, did you ever encounter any students that like really excited you? Like, this kid gets it.
Oh, yeah. It made me so nervous. They were like so good and cool and cooler than me and like so wise. And they're like 16. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, totally. Yeah, like totally. Yeah, just sing the scale. No. And you're just like, how are you so amazing and calm and cool and collect and you're 16 or 12?
Yeah.
So there's tons of kids. Like, I'm going to say one of my students, she was my student even last year. Her name's Eden. I think she's like 13 now. It's a little cutie little button. This tall, 12 years old, like this tiny. So basically like an 11-year-old version of Tina Fey. And just so a certified fucking genius.
Yes. I don't know if you could tell from that comment. I'm a big Tina Fey fan.
I love Tina Fey. You really learn a lot from teaching. Maybe not everyone would, but I did, especially at this school. And you know what? I am on this whole new train and I don't have I shouldn't say Joe job, another job. My job is creating.
You can say Joe job.
I guess so. I don't want to downplay anything.
Everyone who's, ever tried to make it in the arts knows what Joe job is.
Yeah, you have to, but now my job is like, the cover music, I still do lots of that. I'm so lucky. I'm in an ABBA tribute I've been doing for 10 years. We do big theater shows. People are like, like crazy. You're the biggest rock star at this ABBA tribute band. We just like wear some cool outfits, dance and sing. We're not trying to be ABBA. But I've been doing that for so long. The people that I perform with are my family. And then inside one, the people I perform with are my family. I'm doing a gig on Saturday. Like, even if I'm not doing my own music, I'm always performing. And that's my job. And then my job is like learning auditions and doing them and hopefully booking them and seeing where life takes you. And then trying to stay motivated in my own projects and endeavors, which actually as well will cross over the stage, the music, and the acting together. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Life's weird.
Life is weird. It's, we talked about Joe jobs earlier. One of my greatest joys as someone that has been in hospitality for as long as I have and been in hospitality management for as long as I have is when someone who works for me or someone I've worked with before quits their Joe job.
And you're like, what?
Because I know, I love it. I love it when, when someone puts in their notice because I don't need to do this anymore because I'm getting paid to be an artist.
I know. It's so weird.
I'm making enough doing what I love and it's beautiful. It's like fucking good for you.
Yeah. It's, I am someone that always thinks, I'm never doing enough and I do a lot and I have to always remind myself because I did not have a personal life at all in my 20s. Like, we're like, you want to come to the party? I'm like, no, I've missed all the parties. And I just really focused for 10 years on doing things. Yeah. And now in my early 30s, I went on my first, the last couple years been on my first, just vacations. I don't do any of that. So for someone to
Where'd you go?
We did. Yes, we did. My man and I.
Where'd you go?
Puerto Vallarta. Listen, man, we probably had 15 margaritas a day. Yeah, a little splash because I'm already slurring my slurs. That's good. Oh,
you're slurring your slurs.
I'm slurring my slurs, man.
Yeah.
I guess that's what podcasts are about. It's about, you're hot, sweaty, and drinking. Right? I guess because you're in a little bit of a room.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. I mean, I've never had it put so eloquently before, but I like being hot, sweaty,
you're
and
hot,
drunk.
Sweaty, and drinking and talking.
Yeah.
I don't know how red my face is. Probably
no, you're good.
Red. Okay,
you're
good. My blush.
Yeah.
I love it. I feel so cool. Thank you so much for having me. This is such a fun experience. I hate talking about myself as much as I've been talking about myself. So I really appreciate the opportunity.
Do you feel like you're not good at talking about yourself? Because you mentioned earlier that you were a charmer, and I think...
Oh, I'm a charmer for sure. Oh, charmer. But I'm not, I was saying this to my sister. It's her birthday today, by the way. Happy birthday, Alice. As much as I am a performer, it's very hard for me. And I guess I'm like contradicting myself and sounding like a douche. But like, some people are so good at promoting themselves and like being that artist. And I am not. I'm a butt munch.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a butthead. I'm a silly Billy. And I like to do things, but like I'm not like I'm trying to like cross my legs in this chair, but I can't. I'm not like an artist. And some people rock that really well. But I am an artist. And I'm just different. I'm like goofy. Goofy is my thing. And that's just who I am. And I just got to be like, hey, that's who you are, Marlie. It's fine. You're just you. And I'm not, So when I talking about myself or talking about my experience is fine. But to be like, so you can, I was the other day hanging out with David Foster and I sang him a tune and I just went for it because, I don't know. That's not even what an artist does anyway.
I know, but there's that whole element of self-promotion. It's like, such a grueling and disgusting part.
Do you know what I mean, though, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
I remember being in theater school.
Yeah.
And I've always hated social media.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
When Facebook first came out, I was fairly active on it, like back in like 07, 06, whenever it first came out.
Remember poking people?
Poking people, yeah. And my big thing, and then we were, I was in my early 20s at the time.
Totally.
And I would like post, like, the caption was like, "What are you doing?" Or
like how are you feeling? And you write on the wall. What's
and
that called?
I would post like funny quotes, quotes that I liked that are now in the internet forever.
Totally.
And it was just like every day I would look up a quote and I'd post it. And then I went through a bout of, I was depression. I was really fucking depressed.
Yeah.
And I started posting some dark fucking shit. And I remember like waking up one day and just like typing into my computer, "I fucking hate you all so much."
Oh no.
And I posted that.
Wow.
And my aunt, bless her, beautiful woman, Jody, I love you. She posted, "Well, I really love you."
That is really sweet.
And I was like, I can't do social media ever.
That's going to make me cry.
I can't. I'm too mentally unstable to do social media. I just can't do it.
Yeah.
And I've never been able to like, it's never been a thing that I want to do. I'm like, the whole thing of like, no one cares that much about your opinion. And I remember being in theater school and them telling us like, this is an important medium. You need to get on it.
I know.
Because if you go out for parts and the casting director is looking at you and this person, and you're all great for the role, and two of them have 10,000 followers and you have 5, they're going to give it to one of them.
Yes.
And I was like, that's fucking bullshit. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm one of like basically my entire graduating class that isn't currently a working actor.
Well, listen, yes.
Because I just couldn't do it. And I'm like, that's what a fucking agent's for, isn't it?
It is. And you know what? There's 2 sides of the coin, to the coin, of the coin. Yes, that's true. In a way, everyone, you gotta be on it. You got it. Like, we all get it. We do like enough. I do enough. I gotta do more. I know that. But there's gotta be something else to it, like sometimes if you just stay true to who you are and do good work, that's okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I know that like a lot of roles, probably they're going to go to someone who has 20,000 followers, but I don't even know how you would have 20,000 followers if you're not, like, I don't know how someone has that. I just don't get it. So my scheme is, so I guess some pretty cool things that happened since this last July. I've booked 3 leads in Movies of the Weeks. So
sweet.
So it's been pretty huge for me.
Yeah. Which are they, Lifetime?
They're Lifetime, not necessarily Hallmark, but those style. And the last one I just filmed, I was in Kelowna.
Lifetime sometimes does some like thriller stuff.
They do thriller, right? Yeah. So it's a company called Real One, and they make movies and then sell them to either like Hallmark or Lifetime or something or other things. But I did basically 3 in like 4 months, which is huge. I didn't book anything last year up until last July, and then I booked a supporting role, and then I got an audition to play the sister of the lead in another movie of the same production company. And then they offered me the lead. So I had like a 3-day turnover. I did 2 movies in about a month because they're like 12-day shoots. And then I went on tour with my ABBA band. And then I booked another lead in October. And then I booked a lead. I'm like, I booked a lead. I sound like a butt. But anyway, that's the truth. And then I just came back from Kelowna in mid-March. And I did this Christmas spoof movie called Just Like a Christmas Movie. And myself and my man, we wrote actually like they added musical theater portions because they found out as a singer. And it's so freaking funny. This movie is very different. It's like written by like TV show writers. It's not your classic whatever. I actually got 3 of my songs in my first film. They're all coming out this year. So going back to like the social media thing, the director, my co-cast partner, we're number 1 and number 2s. We're all by numbers. So that's what we call each other. We were all hanging out in the hot tub because we were all staying in Kelowna with the director. He's an amazing, lovely man named Soren. And we were talking about the audition. And he's like, I said, my agent told me that I was too big in the audition, or I was pretty big, and that'd be an interesting, experiment. I was like, this script calls for big. The girl gets stuck in a Christmas movie, and all this crazy stuff happens to her at the airport. She like falls back. She like gets knocked out, like all these crazy things that it called for big comedy. And the director was like, I was scared when I saw your audition and the producers wanted you. I was like, oh, so he was right. But he goes, then I looked you up online and I saw that you were a singer and I knew that you were right for the part. I was like, what? And he was just like, I could just see like you could be emotional. You could, be smaller or whatever and be big. And I was like, gosh, damn it. I got to keep posting on Instagram. Like there was that. And then there was also like, it made me feel really good because I guess on another side of it, I fully trusted my instinct and it proved right.
Yeah.
And, also I was like, I'm so grateful that I also have been given the gift of singing as well, because I really feel that they both go hand in hand for me in my career, in my life. And yeah, I got to post daily, I guess, on Instagram at the end of the day. But it's an interesting experience. It's been really cool to kind of blend both of them together with film. I've now just kind of like, I have 2 movies where I have like my music-ish, or I'm like singing in these things. So that's been pretty cool. And, if you do the bare minimum, kids, you can still go far. No, I'm just kidding. In terms of Instagram, because that's what I'm doing, folks.
Yeah, do nothing and you will succeed. This is great because there's 2 podcasts in a row. I was like, I'm pretty sure I endorsed drugs in the last one. And now I'm like, yeah, do nothing, guys.
Yeah. So it's been pretty special. To be a singer and an actor and to do both in movies. And
have you ever gotten to sing on film?
Well, that was this last one. Yeah, actually. So they added, so we get the script and I'm like, okay, we're like a week out. And then they're like, hey, we got the revised script. We added these 2 musical parts. And I was like, I hope they know that I'm a singer, because that would be horrible for someone who wasn't a singer. And they had to do a minute and a half and sing and dance. Like whatever, it's kind of like this movie is really warm and loving, but it pokes fun at all the classic Christmas movie stuff.
Yeah,
and then they decided, let's add a musical theater part in it. What would be worse than a Christmas? So it's really well done. I'm really excited for it. So then I had to sing in it, and they asked me to sing these words to a classic Christmas song, and I was like, that's not really gonna work. And then my partner Corey was like, why don't we just write something for them? And so we did, in 2 hours, they sent the email. I was like, I just thought it was easier. We just wrote a little ditty. They were like, oh my God, this is amazing. So we wrote this little ditty. It's kind of
got a writing, songwriting credit on the movie.
Yeah.
As well. That's fucking cool.
And the first movie I did, I got 3 of my songs in that movie because the director just asked, because she's like, you're a singer? Yeah, let's get your music in here. I'm like, no, it's not going to work. And they chose 3 songs.
All songs from your first album?
One is like a newer single from last year. One is from my first album, and one is an unreleased disco song.
You got a disco song?
I've played it a bunch. To me, it's old. It's called 70s Spirit. You've probably heard it. Yeah. If you be like, oh, I remember this. Yeah. I mean, like I said, here we are again, and I'm just like talking about myself. But I guess that's the point. But
yeah, I mean that's literally why I asked you to come on. It's like, hey, Marlie, do you want to come on the podcast and talk about me?
Hey, man, you're the eyes.
I mean, we could talk. I mean,
you're the eye candy. You're the eyes. I'm the elbows.
Yeah. Like I said, these cameras, they're not on.
Yeah, podcasts, hot, sweaty.
Yeah,
drinking and talking.
Just footage of Brandon hot and sweaty drinking wine. For
just like
60 minutes.
And then you're like, just the breathing. Anyway, so that's what's going on. Instagram, movie stuff. All these things are going to be coming out, I'm pretty sure this year. I actually don't know when they're coming out. And it's quite intense because I've started to actually make some headway. And I'm kind of known as, you work something so long. Last like 8 years for me really went back into film and TV. And that's like, it's like actually something is actually kind of happening. And it's like, oh, that's weird. Awesome. And I've been the lead on set, and you're like, oh, wow, this is cool. And it gets easier. You get more confident.
Yeah.
And then to be known as like a singer and to get my music and write for these movies is also like extra awesome and cool. And then who knows what can happen in life. So I'm just kind of in the thick of it. And I still struggle with being like, yeah, that's really awesome. That's really cool. I'm getting there, where you're like, oh, cool. All right. I got to just be like super confident in myself, happy, whatever that means. But
do you ever feel like you suffer from imposter syndrome?
I'm going to be really honest with you right now. I find that term so like, maybe it annoys me. What is that? Maybe tell me what that means.
I mean, all I know it to mean is something great happens and you're like, do I
deserve it? Is that what you feel?
Or am I like, is this happening right now?
Okay, then maybe that is. I don't know.
I don't know because I've never encountered it.
I think, a lot of the trendy
I have nothing
kind of
to
things,
feel impostery about.
I know. I don't know if it's the same thing, but for me, a lot of let's talk about these words. A lot of some of the traumas in my life was to really I had to hide a lot my success and not really feel good about the things that I did. That could be a sad podcast later. But for me, it's been really hard to be happy for myself and not feel bad about it because I can sometimes be successful. And a lot of my life in my younger years, I was with other people around me to feel that it was bad, I guess, to be successful or to do that, or made fun of, or just it was never okay to talk about your successes and be happy for you. So now I still am kind of shaking all those things out of being like, oh, you can be happy, you can share. Mm-hmm. It's not like you're not boasting about yourself. You're just being like, hey, I did this really cool thing and this is what I'm doing. Now, as I get older, I'm getting better at doing that. But that was a big thing for me. So if that's imposter syndrome, I guess that's what it is. But the only thing that I've known what to do is the only thing I am is I'm a performer. I'm going to freaking learn the lines. I'm going to make you laugh. I'm going to learn the songs. I'm going to sing. I'm going to dance. I'm like, yeah, da, da. And I love it. But
I just feel like that moment of ya, da, da. I just feel like you embody our friend Keisha Haynes.
Oh, yeah.
Small moment.
Yeah.
I can see you guys are best friends and grew up
since
together.
grade 5 and or not since grade, age 5 and 6. So I am so for me to be like, yeah, I do this, it to feel really good and be like, I'm doing this it's been hard for me. I don't know, we all have our things, right?
Yeah.
So, but I mean, it's like a good problem to have. But when you're setting this course of an artist, maybe it's not the best thing to have because you want to be like super confident about it. But I'm getting there.
How do you find like the whole one of the things that the whole networking side of this business?
Yeah, it's all part of that, right? Like I am a talker as well. Like I can hang for sure. But it is, I went to a couple networking events and it was like, I cannot like, oh, what are you doing? Like, I don't like that. Yes, there's networking that is a part of it. And I feel like if you can do it in a way that's really just like real and authentic and meaningful. And I think that's what most people, at least that I know, try to do versus like, try to pretend like you're not, I guess. But it's a hard one, but if you just go and you're like, yeah, all right, we're doing it. This is me. This is what I do. And you're just going to be really real. Then it's not so bad.
My problem with networking was always like that lingering fear in the back of my head that if I spend more than 60 minutes with you, I will undoubtedly say something to offend you.
I know. I probably, I totally probably would kind of say the same thing. Or just like try to make a joke.
Accidentally make fun of you, or like something that you care about, or like a trope that I think like everyone insults this, right? It turns out like, no, that's your mother, or that's your son.
I know, it's hard. It's hard to communicate with people. Yeah. You want to like, be yourself, be joking. And then you don't want to overstep anything. And maybe you do, and you don't mean it. And you just feel horrible. And then you think about it for a week after. And talking is hard.
Yeah, word salad. It's like, what are the words?
I know, it's tough.
I wanted to ask you something about, because you mentioned, writing for the movies that you're working on, which is so fucking cool.
Thank you.
And having a background in musical theater, just a general broad question, opinion question.
Sure.
The trend of the last, I think it started probably with Moulin Rouge.
Ooh.
And then, maybe across the universe.
Yeah.
And we see like the last 5 years.
Oh, yeah.
Which are
it's amazing music.
Examples of ones that I think did a good job.
Totally.
And then there are like that transition of stage musicals.
Oh my God. Yeah.
To film.
Like Mamma Mia?
I haven't seen Mamma Mia.
Okay.
But
just like stage musicals becoming now movie musicals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it work?
What are my thoughts?
Yeah.
Or like, does it work?
Yeah. Just go. That's,
well, the reason why
I'll give you a topic.
Yeah.
Chickpea.
The reason why I went to theater school, musical theater school, was because of Rent, the movie musical. Maybe that answers.
My one claim to fame is that I got to work with, I had one scene on The Flash.
With Jesse?
With Jesse.
Nice.
Yeah, I had one line talking right to Jesse. The camera wasn't even pointed at my face. It was over here. And I was a police officer.
It's pretty cool, isn't it?
I had no idea who he was.
Oh, really? And they're like, oh.
I had seen Rent like many times. I just didn't clock it. Because I was so nervous. I was like, it was my first day on set.
Yeah.
I'd never been on a film set before, a professional film set anyway. I'd done short films and things like that. And then I came home and I told my girlfriend everyone that I'd worked with. And she was like, you just worked with Jesse. He's
like the big deal. Yeah. I mean,
super nice guy. Really, really nice guy.
I think, nowadays, like, I mean, it's a riding the line of cheese. But you know what? Like, does it work? I think so, because back in the day, what were movies? Like singing, dancing, acting, Singing in the Rain, Mary Poppins, like Sound of Music. Like
one of the best movies of all time.
So it's like, yeah, it was. And like the joke of like breaking into song. It is a beautiful thing to break into song.
I love it. I love it so much.
A Star is Born. Man, my brother, he freaking loves that movie. He'll be like, do you want to watch A Star is Born? And he just like sobs at the end of it.
I have not yet finished the newest one.
Oh, really? Well, I mean.
The Chris Christopherson, Barbra Streisand one I've seen.
Yeah. Yeah, like even there, like Barbra Streisand.
That's like the second or third one, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, honestly, I don't know all the history on that. But like Barbra Streisand is like the icon of like a singer, an actor, and theater person. So like Funny Girl, that was an original movie musical. So does it work now? Like things that come to mind, which I still haven't seen, but I know all the music of, is like The Greatest Showman. Like, does it work? I think so. Like people love it. Like no, I don't think it'll ever get old. Of course, things can be cheesy, like anything can. But I mean, one of the shorts I did with Isa, one of my favorite ones called "Will You Marry Me?" We did like we had one musical moment and becomes this like musical piece, and we dance and sing, and it's really beautiful. And we wrote that, and it's like, I think it's cool. A lot of people just don't like musicals, but I freaking love it.
One of my biggest frustration, though, maybe my only frustration with like the transition to movie musicals, is when they take something that's, and I'm not going to say any examples because we're going to put this on the internet.
Yeah, totally. Better cut the. I'm just kidding.
when a musical, when they'll cast it with big Hollywood actors,
for sure,
can't fucking sing.
Totally, or like get the Broadway stars.
Sometimes the big Hollywood actors also just happen to be able to sing, and it works fucking great.
Yeah,
and there are I'm not gonna, again, like I said, I'm not gonna say any examples, but it's just so frustrating because you watch it and you're like, I've been to community theater. Yeah. With better vocalists than this performance right now. Totally. They got paid millions of dollars.
I know. It's a hard thing.
And just cast, and they do it. I understand why they do it. They do it to sell tickets and all that jazz. But
that is the hard thing.
It feels like a slap in the face.
Totally, because all the theater actors and singers, you're just like, what is happening? It is a hard thing. And then you go, well, that is the biz. And unfortunately, that also still happens in just like regular things. Like, like everything is, if you are someone that is known, work happens and stuff and people want to see you. And hey, that person also had to work their way to get there. And that's super cool. But all of us like, come on, we're coming, we're climbing. Yeah. It's tough. But this is the biz. It's an interesting nook to crack, isn't it?
Totally.
Isn't it?
Yeah. I'm probably because I've had 2 glasses of wine and it's tequila.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna say one name.
Okay.
Because I think it's funny and I'm like, why do I fucking care? No one's watching this. Russell Crowe. Because fuck that guy. His performance in Les Mis was so fucking bad. It was like, how did that cross any of the drawing boards? How did anyone not go,
okay, listen.
Okay, this vibrato is fucking awful. We should not hire this guy.
Les Miserables
is one of my favorite musicals. It's amazing.
It was quite intense. You know what they did with the close-ups, and they were like all singing live.
Just like, it was just Oscar bait.
It was Oscar bait. But yeah, Russell Crowe, we love you. We love you, Gladiator. But also, like, good,
he also doesn't need my opinion.
No, but good for him.
He's good. He's good.
Because like it takes a lot. It takes a lot to sing. And yeah, man, that is did you ever watch what is it called? Honest Trailers or
Honest Trailers? I love Honest Trailers.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they're brilliant.
The Les Miserables one is like iconic for me. They they make fun of all those trailers and stuff in the best way. Yeah. And the Les Mis. I should stop saying Les Miserables, but like I do speak French, so I do want to say it properly. Les Mis. That's how people say it. I just say
Les Mis because I can't say it the other way, and I can't say it without feeling like I'm saying it wrong. So
it's like, hey, we have the halibut on special, salmon. You get a side of fries, and you can this, get that, and we also have a Pinot Noir. You don't just add in the accent, but I'm adding in the accent.
So I feel like the fact that I've read the book, albeit a translation.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone else who's ever read that book. I feel like that.
You read the Les Mis book?
It's one of the best pieces of literature I've ever written.
Wow.
It's a fantastic book. And the fact that I don't speak French pisses me off because if it was that good in English, how good was it in French?
Totally.
I've only read a translation, but it's a brilliant piece of work.
Wow.
And the fact that it has stood the test of time through multiple mediums is a testament to the beauty of the story. It's a love story to France that he wrote in exile.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, shoot.
Cheers to Victor Hugo.
Cheers, like that. Ugh.
Yeah, it's a fantastic book. I feel like the fact that I know that,
You got some
little
cred.
smug there. I can just shorten
You could be like, listen, RC.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I'm going to pour myself a little one of these.
You could have even had this one. I love tequila, but like I said.
Well, we're going to do a final cheers, but you need to drink that.
I don't need to drink it. Yeah, because like I said, I got to.
You got
to do a couple auditions. They might be my best ones.
It is so cool to have you on.
Thank you.
And I know that you've talked about that struggle with like self-promotion.
Yeah.
But like you got so much to be fucking proud of.
Thank you.
You're doing, you're doing cool shit. You're living, you're out there, you're working it.
I am. It. Yeah. Thank you.
You're slaying and you're hustling.
Slaying. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. This has been so much fun. I feel so honored to be asked. It means so much. So thank you very much.
Sasha.
Yeah. Cheers. I'm like, ooh.